Point to us when we are going live.
Hi everyone, Marissa McNees here with Shaun Bennett from the Chronicle Telegram at North Ridgeville for the big Division II Region 6 final matchup between Avon Lake and Avon. We've got a rematch, the Week 1 game between the two rivals. Shaun, your thoughts coming into today?
Well, obviously the big story on the Avon side, which I covered in today's paper, was the loss of players this year. 22 lost for some time, 13 with season-ending injuries. They're on their third-string quarterback. They're on their third-string running back. It's a makeshift line, but somehow they had that pretty much all that last week, and they end up beating Benedictine by 3 touchdowns. So it's hard to say kind of what you're going to get week to week with Avon because you think they're down, but they're never out.
Yeah, I mean, I remember in your story from last week, Coach Elder said it's kind of a sick joke at this point. They're losing people left and right, but meanwhile, this is a program that still finds ways to win.
Yeah, and that's kind of the story I did today was kind of delving into some of the ways that Avon's able, because it's not just the injuries this year, but like when they graduate 10, 15 seniors, they come back next year and go 10-0. So they have a system in place for the kids who aren't starting to step right into starting roles and immediately be successful. This year, obviously, it's been a little, micromanaged as far as all that, just boom, boom, boom. These guys are stepping up and stepping in, but it's been pretty amazing to watch the way they go week to week.
And meanwhile, you have Avon Lake with a defense that has been talked about since week 1. Coach Elder had mentioned when they played them, that's the best defense we're probably going to see all season, and they have showed no signs of slowing down. They're coming into this game as still one of the top defenses around. How does things change now with Avon and all their injuries? I mean, are we going to see anything different out of Avon Lake today?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's a good question because obviously in week 1, and this is a kind of a special rivalry for Marissa and I, because this is the last time we got to cover it again, and now 13 weeks later, we have to cover the game again here, doing this special format, which is really cool. But, in week 1, they kind of held Nick Perusic, who's an all-Ohio running back, to 73 yards, no rushing touchdowns. Danny Zay was making his varsity debut, kind of threw for 100 and some yards, had the 1 touchdown to Nick Perusic, had an interception, so he kind of had a pedestrian showing, by his standards now. So you can't imagine that the guys like Devin Hunter who stepped in and, whoever they're going to have at quarterback, Nico Papa sounds like he's going back to defense and that Chase Myers is going to be starting, will have like outrageously worse performances. So that being said, it might be very similar to what we saw the first week. I don't know, but Avon Lake obviously is progressed. So what are you thinking?
I don't know. Their offense too, Avon Lakes, is going to look a lot different than what we saw. I think week 1 they were doing the 2 quarterback system. Now we've got Corbo out there. They've been putting up a lot more points. Obviously in the first matchup it was 13-12. A missed extra point was the difference, as well as I think it was 14 penalties for something like 114 yards. And I think Coach Kostelnik is going to have them a little bit more disciplined this time around.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Avon Lake's defense, that little stretch they had where it was like, I think they had 7 or 8 weeks, there was like 6 shutouts, there was 1 7-point game they gave up. It was something to behold. It was crazy.
Yeah, I haven't seen a defense perform like that in a while. It's really something to see.
Right, and then and obviously the thing with Avon is you think I go into last week and Danny Zay's knocked out. Perusic's been gone for about 5-6 weeks, and I'm thinking Benedictine, has got a lot of hype behind him. They beat some really good teams, the defending Pennsylvania state champion in Erie Cathedral Prep, and you're thinking this might be the end of the line for Avon, but Elder and his staff find a way to do this 1-2 punch with Devin Hunter and Nico Pappas, and they're just chewing up that Benedictine defense. So I have to believe they know their personnel well enough, and they're going to have a game plan to combat what they see in Avon Lake's defense.
Yeah, and I don't know about you. I think for me the biggest key for Avon Lake is going to be limiting those mistakes. You can't come out here with 114 penalty yards again against Avon, no matter who they're putting out there. It doesn't matter if they're on their 3rd-string quarterback or not. You cannot make those kind of mistakes, especially in a regional final matchup. And
I think they have cleaned those up over the course of the season. Certainly their offenses look better after that first game. It's unbelievable to see 2 teams that we already watched one time play and have so little idea what to expect. You figure, it'll probably be similar to the first game. It's probably going to be maybe something totally different.
Any other thoughts going in? I mean, what do you expect to see out of these 2 teams?
I don't know. It's such an intense rivalry. They have the gamesmanship over the course of the week. We had a rumor just up until game time that Danny Zay had a brace made and that he was going to be suited up and he was going to be back. And he's out there actually at pregame throwing, reps, which apparently he's been doing all week to his receivers. But he's in jeans and boots while everybody else is dressed. So does he pull a fast one and all of a sudden he trots out when because we still over a half hour away
Right.
from game time. So the gamesmanship for this rivalry has been crazy. It's almost on the level of Mid-U Avon a few years ago when they met in the regional semifinals, and it was such a big showdown in SWC, or well, I think that might have even been a West Shore. No, that was probably SWC at that point. But it was just like crazy, and not quite as snowy today. Still pretty cold, but I don't know. What about you?
It's like you said, it's so wild to have teams, they've played already once this season, and to not know what to expect. I mean, I know we're going to see that strong Avon Lake defense. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Their offense has shaped up over the season. With Avon, it's a completely different team than what I saw in week one. I haven't got to see him until tonight. So I really don't know what to expect other than I expect it to be as close of a game as it was in week one.
Well, the good news is it's here at North Ridgeville Stadium. They stay in county. The rivalry stays in county. The playoff money stays in county. This is an awesome venue. Saw Olmsted Falls and Avon here a few years ago. It's just a great, they got the everything's set up well, so I'm kind of happy about that too.
Yeah, and I know they sold out tickets today, standing room only at this point, so if you're not here yet, you're going to have to follow along. You can follow me at Marissa NM on Twitter. Shaun, where can they follow you for updates?
Shaun Bennett CT at Twitter. Obviously, our radio station, WOL, we'll be broadcasting it live. You should have, and just like this week, I mean, you should be at this point well-versed in the Avon Lake rivalry. I mean, were you surprised by how many stories you saw?
No, I mean, listen, this rivalry, there's always a story to tell, and there's been so many storylines with both of these teams this season, so I'm sure there'll be even more coming out of tonight.
I got to tell you, I loved our sports stories that we got to do, but the news side stories with the mayors on the opposite side of the tracks photo and the dads in the Avon mascot costumes. I mean, this is a lot of fun. This is it's a fierce rivalry, and as both coaches have said, it's a rivalry built in respect. But it's a lot of fun what these two schools are doing now.
And I know Kristen Bauer, our photographer, who's here with us tonight. We walked in today. We saw those dads dressed in their Eagles costumes, so they are here and they're ready to embarrass their daughters, like they said in that story earlier this week.
And not only great for the what the team pride and stuff like that, but those got to be warm. That's a pretty smart idea at this point of the season.
Right, we needed an Eagle costume.
I'll take a costume of some sort. I don't want to show favoritism, but I definitely you dress in the Eagle, I'll dress in like a shoreman costume. That way we split the difference there.
All right, everyone, we've got a little over 30 minutes till game time. Shaun and I will be back around halftime to bring you some more updates. So again, make sure you follow me at Marissa NM for some updates. Shaun
Bennett CT on the Twitter.
All right.
Yeah, I believe if it's on streaming through, if you have a Spectrum, if you have Spectrum subscription, you can stream through the Spectrum website, I believe.
Yep, and it's at ohsaa.tv. I know you can pick it up there as well.
Right.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everyone.